Hi. Thursday, the 21st of November 2019, and that means Mercury Retrograde has actually completely finished and is over. We are in the post-shadow until the 7th of December, and for the next 4 days, the post-shadow phase is quite intense. But the post-shadow phase is all about adding things up, working out what was kind of wrong, what was kind of difficult, and why. That's the main thing. The worst thing, perhaps, about the actual retrograde time is not knowing why things are all over the place, why things keep going the way they're going. Now we start finding the answers. We really do. It's been that way the last few days as we've come towards the end of Mercury retrograde, but now it's over. It is actually going to be a time of reckoning where we can actually reckon up what's been going on in our own lives with it, and what we can do to kind of have a better time in the future, really. And that is what astrology is all about in terms of predictions, you know. But this is all about today. These forecasts that I do every day, it's actually about what's happening today and in the next sort of 24 hours or so. So the moon is in her waning phase. The new moon is coming in 15:05 GMT UTC on the 26th of November. So much less than a week, about 5 days to go before we get there. And that new moon is really going to be a catalyst for us getting up off the floor after Mercury retrograde. But that is beginning already. The moon is actually in Virgo at this moment, and that is going to go on. There's only a very short void, of course, actually, less than an hour. Let me see, 7:31 p.m. Pacific, 8:20 p.m. Pacific, the moon will actually enter Libra. So then we'll see more of a balancing influence, and that's great for the end of Mercury retrograde as well. So we get that Virgo moon, 8:20 p.m. Pacific, 11:20 p.m. Eastern, and 4:20 a.m. I'm sorry, tomorrow on the 22nd here in the UK. So we've got to wait a bit longer, but that's the way it goes. It really is. When the moon is kind of, as she is at the moment, really coming to the end of her cycle, lunar energy particularly, goes to an all-time low, which it does every month. That's not big news, but that's the case. That's what's happening. It's good for consolidation. I've been saying this for a few days now. That is really about kind of not so much working on new things and having new ideas, but maybe having new ideas, but it's really about bringing old ideas to some sort of completion, and only you know what you've been working on, only you know which way to go with that and what to actually do with that. So she's 33.5% full at this moment as I speak, and looking down the list of alignments, things are looking pretty good, actually. The only thing is Mars is opposite Uranus, and Mars is just about to be in Scorpio as well. Not actually until December the 9th, but she's headed that way. And with Mars opposite Uranus he is, I should say, with Mars, individual ego needs kind of get into conflict and that kind of thing. Things get impassive, you know, you can't get past a certain point. Tricky, particularly between people, and pressure builds up. You get sudden, unusual, kind of unexpected things happening. Could be different for absolutely everyone, but with Mars opposite Uranus, people tend to want to kind of be more assertive and stand up for themselves more. No bad thing that, strikes, that kind of thing, well, they are negative as they're actually happening, but it is all about people trying to get better conditions. I'm just looking at various random aspects of it there because, you know, these forecasts are meant for absolutely everyone, everywhere in the world, and I'm delighted to see the subscriptions still going up, and thank you everyone who's subscribed and everybody who leaves comments, keeping the channel alive, so to speak. Great stuff. The moon herself is trine Pluto. Just the lunar energy is quite low at the moment, so I'm not too concerned about that. But the general idea of moon trine Pluto is strong emotions, strong urges, and it moves people to want to take action about what matters to them, what matters to you. It's a time for letting go of your inhibitions and going with the energy of the moment, and being open to change and rearrangements is the best way to do that. Now, although that lunar energy is actually very low, that whole idea, it goes with Mars being opposite Uranus, it goes with the end of Mercury retrograde, and it actually goes with the idea of the moon coming into Libra, which she is doing at this very moment. She's very close to coming into Libra. Mercury itself is trine Neptune, so imaginative conversations, future planning, vision questing, all that is great, actually. It's also a good time for kind of going into yourself a bit, just reflecting on what matters to you spiritually, and finding inspiration that way is really, really a positive thing to do. And now we're actually in the post-shadow, and we're actually starting to see reasons why things have been the way they've been. That is very positive indeed. Venus conjunct Jupiter, that's been the case for a few days now. It's a time of confidence, generosity, feelings of prosperity, you know, so it really is a very happy feeling day once we get out into the world. It's a less happy thing to be so introspective as we tend to be at this time, but there we go, you know, that is what life is all about. So if you're someone who doesn't get out much, today would be a really, really good day to actually get out there, to actually be doing things. Okay, I'm going to leave that there then, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe, tap the bell, leave me a comment. Always great to share the journey. And if you can share me around the internet, I would be most grateful, because the YouTube machine is not looking all that favourable on small channels like this. I've never really cared that it was a small channel, you know. I don't make money from it, and I don't really feel that that's what I need to do. But, you know, YouTube are starting to say things need to be commercially viable, and they want to put adverts and stuff on here. And I'm not keen on the advertising side of YouTube. It's always seemed a bit sinister to me. And since my 55th birthday, it seemed very, very sinister indeed, because they started advertising funerals. And, well, if you probably only have seen this advert if you live in Wales. They have a Welsh man who comes on and says, "The funeral industry have been ripping people off for years." And he just goes on about, you know, have you paid for your funeral yet, because you're going to die. And I hate that kind of thing. I don't really want advertising on this. So we might end up on Facebook. But meanwhile, kind of join the throng of people who are getting behind the Twig Brother channel at the moment, and see if we can make it real in a positive way for ourselves. That's what End of Mercury Retrograde is about. That is really where the astrology of today is aiming towards as well. So really positive one. So have a good day yourselves, and I'll see you again very soon. Peace.